Welcome back to Stoic Kingdom. Today, Morgan has a story to share with you. Try to imagine yourself sitting in a quiet coffee shop, flipping through the pages of your favorite book. Suddenly, a friend you rarely contact suddenly appears and asks you to lend a large sum of money. Have you ever wondered if that person really needs you or is just taking advantage of you? Have you ever felt like you're always the one giving without receiving anything in return? Or have you ever realized that your relationship only exists when the other person needs you? These situations are not unfamiliar, but how to recognize and handle them in a calm and alert way, like the Stoic philosophers. Today, Morgan will share with you 5 Stoic approaches to recognize whether you are being taken advantage of or not. These are methods that not only help you protect yourself, but also bring peace of mind. Did you know that a healthy relationship always needs a balance between giving and receiving? However, many of us are often caught up in a spiral of exploitation without even knowing it. The philosophy of Stoicism not only helps us recognize these signs, but also guides us on how to respond in an alert and calm manner. Let's explore those signs. You will be surprised to learn that what you often think is normal could actually be a sign of exploitation. Have you ever refused to help someone and seen their attitude change? Or do you often feel like you're in a weak position in your relationship? Morgan believes that when we recognize these signs, life will become easier. You will no longer feel tired of being taken advantage of, but instead, you will learn how to set boundaries and build truly meaningful relationships. And before we start, you can give Morgan a like for the video and show your strength by commenting, "Live like a true Stoic." Let's imagine a familiar situation. You are in a relationship, maybe with friends, family, or even co-workers. You are always willing to help, share, and care for them, but when you need a shoulder to lean on, they are not there. Have you ever wondered if you are being taken advantage of? This question may sound sensitive, but it is really worth pondering. Today, we will explore a Stoic approach to recognizing this sign. This is an important factor in determining whether your relationship is truly healthy or just one-sided. Number 1. Check the level of interaction and sharing. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we react." So how do you apply this advice to evaluating your relationship? Start by observing the interactions between you and the other person. A truly healthy relationship requires sharing and interaction from both sides. If you are always the one initiating conversations, the one helping, and the one giving, while the other person simply receives and rarely shares in return, it could be a sign of exploitation. A story that Morgan wants to share with you is the story of a close friend who went through it. She is always the first to text, call, and is willing to help when her friends need it. However, when she was in trouble, none of them appeared to help her. That feeling was really lonely and painful. Does this story remind you of someone or a situation? In Christianity, we are taught, love others as yourself. Love and care are not only about giving, but also about receiving. If you always feel like you're the one giving without receiving, it might be time to reconsider your relationship. Have you ever wondered, why am I always the one who initiates and maintains this relationship? Let's try to look at another aspect of this sharing, which is giving and receiving in love and care. Christianity teaches that love is not just something you do, but also a state of mind. When you love and give from your heart, you also deserve to receive the same love and care in return. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control our reactions. When you realize you are being taken advantage of, don't get angry or disappointed. See it as a valuable lesson about humanity and self-respect. Morgan encourages you to ask yourself, do I really need to stay in this relationship? Sharing is not only material, but also spiritual. A piece of advice, a listening ear, a hug when you need it. These are all signs of true sharing. Pay attention to these things to protect yourself and find truly valuable relationships. Morgan hopes that, through these shares, you will gain a new perspective on your relationship. Remember, you deserve relationships where giving and receiving are always balanced. Don't hesitate to cut off negative relationships and find peace in your soul. By examining the level of interaction and sharing in the relationship, you can begin to recognize signs of exploitation if the relationship is one-sided. But that's just the first step. Once you realize that you're always the one who gives without receiving, the next step is to look more deeply at the other person's requests. Have you ever noticed that they only contact you when they need something from you? This is when we need to recognize the selfishness in their request. Imagine you are always willing to help whenever they need it, but when you ask for help or a little attention, they avoid it or act busy. Selfishness lies not only in the fact that they always ask but never reciprocate, but is also clearly shown in the way they treat your needs as non-existent. We will learn how to recognize and deal with this selfishness in the next section. Number 2. Identify the selfishness in their requests. Imagine a normal evening. You have just arrived home after a long day at work. Your phone suddenly rings, and it's a friend you rarely contact. They need your help with something urgent. You immediately ignore your tiredness and are willing to help. But this happens over and over again, and you start to realize that they only come to you when they need something. This is when we need to recognize the selfishness in their request. In Stoic philosophy, one of the important principles is mindfulness and control of one's emotions. Epictetus, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens." This advice applies perfectly when we recognize selfishness in the requests of others. When someone constantly asks you for help without paying any attention to you, it's a clear sign of selfishness. Have you ever noticed that they only appear when they need something from you? When their requests are always one-sided, there is never any exchange or support in return, then it's time to rethink this relationship. Christianity teaches that love and kindness should come from sincerity, not selfishness. In the Bible, it is written, "Love does not seek its own interests." This means that true love is not just receiving without giving, but a balance between giving and receiving. If you find that you are always the giver in the relationship, and the other person only takes and never reciprocates, it is a sign of an unhealthy relationship. Ask yourself, am I worthy of such a relationship? Morgan has a friend who often asks him for help. At first, I thought it was normal in friendship. But gradually, I realized that every time I needed help, that friend was busy or didn't seem interested. That feeling was really lonely and hurt. Have you ever experienced a similar situation? Please share with Morgan in the comments. Selfish demands often come in many forms. These could be offers of financial help, time, or even emotional help. A true friend will always care about your feelings and needs, not just come to you when they need something. Recognizing selfishness in requests is an important step in protecting yourself. Don't hesitate to say no when you feel like you're being taken advantage of. This doesn't mean you're selfish, but it means you're protecting your worth and self-esteem. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thinking." Maintain positive thoughts and keep your soul at peace. Christianity also encourages us to be true to ourselves and love everyone with a sincere, unselfish heart. Learn to love yourself and know that you deserve healthy relationships, where giving and receiving are always balanced. Morgan hopes that through these shares, you will realize your own value and know how to protect yourself from unhealthy relationships. Please leave a comment and share your story with Morgan. Don't forget to like the video to support us. If you've recognized the selfishness of their requests, you may already be starting to feel like you're being taken advantage of. But the truth will become clearer when you observe their behavior during times when you need help. Have you ever noticed that people who truly care about you will always be willing to help without hesitation? Meanwhile, people who only know you when they need you often disappear or avoid you when you are in trouble. To know who your trustworthy friend really is, let's explore how they react when you need help. Number 3. Observe their behavior when you need help. Robin Williams is a person who brings joy and laughter to millions of people around the world. But few people know that he struggled with depression and many other health problems. During a difficult time in his life, Robin tried to seek support from close friends. He called and reached out to some friends who he thought could help and share. Unfortunately, there are friends that Robin trusts who always seem busy and don't have time to help him. That feeling is truly lonely and painful, not only because of the lack of support, but also because of the disillusionment in the friendship. However, in the most difficult moments, he also realized that there were still true friends, always ready to be by his side, supporting not only materially, but also mentally. Robin Williams' story is a clear example of observing other people's behavior when we need help. Have you ever wondered, are the people around me really sincere friends? When you face difficulties, those who truly care will not hesitate to stand by your side, regardless of the circumstances. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus teaches us that a wise person will never judge others by their words, but by their actions. The actions of true friends are the most important thing. They won't just say nice words, but will actually show up and help you when you need it. Have you ever noticed that people who truly care will always be willing to help without hesitation? Robin Williams' story is not only a lesson in friendship and support, but also a reminder of the importance of choosing friends. Once you realize who really cares and who is just taking advantage, know how to retain sincere relationships and eliminate unhealthy ones. Christianity also emphasizes the importance of help and love. In the Bible, it is written, "Bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." This means we are called to support and help each other, especially in difficult times. Morgan hopes that through these shares, you will realize your own value and know how to protect yourself from unhealthy relationships. By observing the behavior of people when you need help, you can see more clearly who is a real friend and who is just an exploiter. But to complete the picture of your relationship, pay attention to how they react when you say no to their requests. Have you ever refused to help someone and noticed a change in their attitude? This is the next test to check whether the relationship is truly sincere or not. Join Morgan to further explore how to recognize by observing their actions when you refuse a request. Number 4. Observe their actions when you refuse. Have you ever refused a request and immediately noticed a change in the other person's attitude? Do you find them becoming withdrawn, angry, or even insulting you? If you've ever been through this situation, join Morgan to learn more about how to tell the sincerity of a relationship by their actions when you say no. Stoic philosophy, with its profound lessons in sobriety and steadfastness, teaches us that other people's reactions to rejection are a mirror of their own souls. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens." When you refuse to help, the other person's reaction will say a lot about their sincerity and true character. Imagine you have a friend who constantly asks you for help, and you're always willing to assist. But one day, you feel too tired and decide to refuse. That friend immediately became angry, thinking that you were selfish and unreliable. Is this story familiar? When you refuse someone's request, if they really care about you, they will understand and sympathize with your reasons. They won't pressure you or make you feel guilty for saying no. On the contrary, people who only take advantage of you will appear annoyed and immediately change their attitude. Christianity teaches us that love and understanding are the foundation of all relationships. In the Bible, it is written, "Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not jealous. Love is not boastful, is not arrogant, does not do wrong, does not seek its own, is not hot-tempered, angry, not suspecting evil." This means that true love does not seek personal gain and does not get angry easily when rejected. If you refuse a request and the other person becomes angry or hostile, it's a sign that the relationship is not based on mutual love and respect. Have you ever asked yourself, should I maintain this relationship? One time, Morgan refused to help a close friend because he was too busy with work. That friend immediately became angry and said hurtful words. That feeling was really painful, but it was also when I realized that this friend didn't really care about me. Have you ever experienced a similar situation? Once you realize who really cares and who is just taking advantage, know how to retain sincere relationships and eliminate unhealthy ones. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thinking." Focus on positive thoughts and maintain relationships that bring you joy and peace. Christianity also encourages us to be true to ourselves and love everyone with a sincere, unselfish heart. Learn to love yourself and know that you deserve healthy relationships. where giving and receiving are always balanced. Morgan hopes that through these shares, you will realize your own value and know how to protect yourself from unhealthy relationships. Please share your story with everyone. Once you've observed how they react when you say no, you can spot clear signs of selfishness and insincerity in the relationship. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. To gain a deeper understanding of the true nature of the relationship, you need to pay attention to the inequalities that exist within it. Do you ever feel like you're always the one having to give in, give more, or always be in a weak position? This is when we need to learn about inequality in relationships and how to recognize it to protect ourselves. Let's explore this with Morgan in this final part. Number 5. Pay attention to inequality in the relationship. Imagine you're rowing on a peaceful river, but things get difficult when you realize you're the only one rowing. You feel tired and exhausted, while the other person just sits back and enjoys the ride. Do you ever feel like you're always the one who has to shoulder all the responsibility in your relationship? If the answer is yes, then you need to pay attention to the inequality in your relationship. Morgan will learn with you about how to recognize and handle this inequality. A healthy relationship requires a balance between giving and receiving. If you always feel like you're the one who has to give in, give more, or are always in a weak position, it's a sign of an unhealthy relationship. Have you ever wondered, why do I always have to be the one to suffer? In Stoic philosophy, you have the power to take control and change the way you deal with inequality in your relationship. Have you ever asked yourself whether you deserve a relationship that is fair and mutually respectful? If you feel like you always have to give in and don't receive adequate respect and love in return, that's a clear sign of inequality. Have you ever asked yourself, should I continue in this relationship? Christianity also emphasizes the importance of justice and love. In the Bible, it is written, "Be humble, gentle, patient, bearing with one another in love. Keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace." This means that love and relationships must be built on a foundation of fairness, respect, and sincere love. Morgan wants to share a story about Oprah Winfrey, a strong and successful woman, has experienced many unfair relationships in her life. In those relationships, she is always the one who has to give in and give more. But thanks to her determination and self-respect, Oprah realized that she deserved a fair and respectful relationship. She decided to leave unhealthy relationships and seek relationships that brought her true peace and joy. Does this story remind you of any situation? When you realize inequality in the relationship, don't hesitate to say no and re-establish boundaries. This doesn't mean you're selfish, but it means you're protecting your worth and self-esteem. Focus on positive thoughts and maintain relationships that bring you joy and peace. Christianity also encourages us to be true to ourselves and love everyone with a sincere, unselfish heart. Learn to love yourself and know that you deserve healthy relationships, where giving and receiving are always balanced. Morgan hopes that through these shares, you will realize your own value and know how to protect yourself from unhealthy relationships. Please leave a comment and share your story with Morgan. Don't forget to hit the follow button so you don't miss out on other valuable lessons from Morgan. Let's work together towards a happier and more peaceful life. You deserve relationships where giving and receiving are always balanced. Don't hesitate to cut off negative relationships and find peace in your soul. Ask yourself, am I investing in the right relationships? Please share your thoughts and join Morgan in creating a stronger and more positive community. So together we have explored and deeply analyzed the topic. Are you being used? 5. Stoic ways to recognize if someone is using you. Morgan hopes that these lessons have helped you realize your own value and know how to protect yourself from unhealthy relationships. In life, recognizing and facing exploitation is not always easy, but it is steadfastness and self-respect that will help us overcome all difficulties. Remember, you deserve sincere relationships where giving and receiving are always balanced. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens." Keep your soul at peace and face all challenges with a strong heart. Morgan wants to sincerely thank all of you for listening and accompanying me on this journey. Your support and sharing are a great source of motivation for Morgan to continue bringing meaningful lessons and stories. If you find this video useful, please help Morgan press the like button, comment "Great" so YouTube will rate this video useful. Or you can share with friends and subscribe to Stoic Kingdom channel so you don't miss the next videos. In addition, you can watch other videos displayed at the end of this video. Morgan believes that through each lesson, we will grow more and more and find joy and peace in life. Be true to yourself, love yourself, and cherish relationships that are truly worthy. Let's work together towards a happier and more peaceful life. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lessons. Best regards, Morgan from Stoic Kingdom.